Mic check. There we go. How we doing, Shocktoberfest 2025? Can I get a whoop whoop? Thank you for that. I needed that. I got a lot of imposter syndrome going on right now after talking to a bunch of smart people the last 2 days. I'm just a lonely wholesale employee. But let's do this. I work at a company called Mesher Supply in Portland. We're pretty small. We have about 50 employees, 4 branches. When I say wholesale, it means direct to customer, B2B. We try not to have the DIYers come to our shop because eventually they end up calling our real customers when they realize they're over their head. I have multiple roles at such a small company because we only have 30 or under 50 employees. I started with accounts receivable, moved to quality control and inventory, which is basically just make sure it's actually on the shelf. Pricing specialist, which just means making sure the price is correct. And operations and software, which I recently got that role. My favorite job title to tell people, though, is Mesher Minion. I'm really proud of this job title because it means I'm willing to improve my company no matter what it takes and what I need to learn. Since we are a 100-year-old company, we are also behind the times. And since we are a small company, we don't always have the budget to compete with the big boys. We currently have an ERP system that when I say it to people, everyone goes, who? And I go, exactly. So when I take sales call from people like you trying to sell your software, the first thing I go, hey, have you heard of a company called blank? And it's always, who? And I go, exactly. And they're like, oh, we can integrate with anybody as long as your APIs are good. And that's when I go, oh, shit. Our APIs are horrible. I tried to solve this problem by researching other ERP companies, but being such a niche company that only deals with plumbing supplies in the wholesale community, there was only 3 options. One of them is a big guy. All the billion-dollar companies use this guy. All our customers that are the big billion-dollar customers are like, hey, why don't you use those guys? The reason why is the price tag. We do not have the money to double our ERP cost. The second ERP company I tried to get with to see if they'd work for us, we're like, yeah, we can do what you need us to do, but you're gonna have to change all your operating procedures and all your financial reporting. And I go, shit, that's not gonna work. When we changed from a DOS-based system in 2015, we lost a lot of veteran employees because unfortunately in our industry, the knowledge of plumbing supplies is more powerful than the knowledge of technology. So that left me with option 3, which was stick with the devil I know. After choosing to stick with this devil with the limited API options, I went and researched e-commerce companies. I talked to the Shopifys, I talked to the Billtrusts, I talked to the no-names that are even less known than our ERP company. And they all promised the world, and we're like, yeah, we can do that. We can integrate with anybody. And then as soon as I gave them the one piece of paper with all our API connection information, they were like, shit, we cannot do that. And it left me with one company that I thought I only had one company that was in our buyers group that had already integrated with our ERP. Unfortunately, anytime I see updates to update our ERP system, somewhere in the 5 updates, this company's name came, and it was to fix some sort of problem. And I'm like, oh God, am I just gonna create more work for myself or not? Luckily, I had this wonderful friend who does e-commerce for multiple platforms. I go, hey buddy, X company is the only option I got. Is there anything you can help me out with? And he came out of the blue and they told me about a company called Shopware. And I did the same thing all the other companies did. I was like, who? My buddy's like, oh, they're a German company. They're not from the States yet. And I was like, all right, let me consider it. So I had two options again. I had a company that I knew could integrate with us, but was going to leave us falling short of what we were hoping and wanting, or I could step out into the blue and give Shopware a try. It was the right call. When Shopware came and asked me what my needs were, I was very specific. I was like, hey, we have limited API. We're very customer-centric. We're not trying to reach out and meet new customers. We're not trying to grab attention. We're only trying to take care of the customers we already have. I need them to be able to access all their information on one page, not have to log into multiple pages like our current ERP system had with multiple passwords for multiple accounts. I had the luck of having Above the Fray help me out with the implementation, and I'm sure I was a headache to them because they'd use acronyms and jargon terms, and I'd be like, hold up, talk to me like I'm 6, because I really am most of the time. And they broke it down to me that because of our limited APIs, we're going to have to go a side route. And they're like, what can we do with your system? Luckily, our Arcadic system did have something called Advanced Report Writer, which allowed us to send wonderful CSV files to Shopware, where Shopware would take these Excel files and make them into pretty pages with all the customer information I could hope for that looked even prettier in our ERP system. And I was like, yes, we're on to something. So far, we just launched Shopware, I'd say 3 months ago. And as hard as it is to get people in the plumbing industry to go towards technology, I've been lucky and had nothing but positive feedback. Customers are happy that they no longer have to call me and give me their credit card number over the phone so I can push their payment into our system. I don't know why they don't want to talk to me. I'm so talkative and all, but I guess they want to cut the middleman out, which I get. The next step was to make sure that our customers could submit blanket quotes, because unfortunately, most of the products they order from us aren't in our system. We have to special order them and drop ship them to customers. So with the quote function in Shopware, they're able to just give us a PDF with what they want. It goes into our salespeople, and we're able to work the magic on the back end. The products that we do have in Shopware, our customers are allowed to select and submit an order. And we ask Shopware to make a stopping point. So instead of just saying, hey, we approve your order, and then later having to call the customer and be like, sorry, our inventory was off, we get to manually check, make sure the products are available, and then give the thumbs up to our customers. Long story short, Shopware was a savior for us, because without them, I'd be with company X, still manually taking phone calls for payments and having a lacking e-commerce that would only sell the products that are in our product SKUs. That's all I got.